Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Indeed, strange things, they do happen in this world. The translation reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a woman who is aged 37 years old and I am currently sleeping with my husband like each and every night. But when I sleep with my husband, he is no longer human because he is now like a mouse and it is only I that can see him. As for the rest of the family, they honestly think that my husband is in South Africa. There are even times when I can even travel to South Africa pretending as if I am going to see my husband. Then when I return back with a lot of groceries, and I have since lied to my relatives that my husband, he has taken a second wife, just trying to cover it up. So me and my husband, we had our 3 kids, and I have done something terrible, something that I regret with each and every day. I find myself regretting. It all started with love, or at least what I thought was love. My husband and I, we had been married for a lot of years. We had our ups and downs like any other couple, but over the last years I began to feel him as if he was slipping away from me. This was after he had gone to South Africa, and when he came back, when I looked at his phone, that was when I saw a lot of pictures of him and other South African women that he had been dating. So me and him, we started fighting because he was now distant, cold, and I was terrified that he was falling out of love with me. I could not even bear the thought of losing him and watching our marriage as it was crumbling to the ground. I was desperate to save our relationship. I told myself that before he would have returned back to South Africa, I needed to find someone, a strong witch, a traditional healer, anyone, a red garment prophet that could give me some charms that were going to help me so that my husband can keep on loving me. I wanted him to return to South Africa because that was where he was getting the money that he was using to take care of me and the kids. So I was desperate again. I could not keep him by my side at all the times. He was a man who was supposed to return back to work. So I had heard about people talking about love potions, but even though I had always heard but never believed in a love potions, I had heard stories from other women in our villages who had told me that these love potions, they can even fix a broken marriage, to bring back a man to his wife's side, make him love her more than ever. I never imagined that I would resort to such a thing, but my fear of losing my husband, I can say that my fear of losing my husband, it was what made me to do everything that I did. So I went to see this other traditional healer. This was in a neighboring village. And when I went to that traditional healer, she was someone who was known for her powerful potions and charms. I explained my situation to her, and she told me that she had once had a dream, and in that dream she had been shown a vision that one day I would come to her house, and here I was at her house. I explained my situation and she knew everything. And I told you that my husband, I was afraid that this time around, if he would return back to South Africa, because I had seen some messages from this other South African woman, it seemed as if that woman was already pregnant. So I did not want to lose him forever. She assured me that she could help me. She then gave me a small bottle that was full of liquid, telling me to mix this liquid with my husband's food. She warned me to be careful with the amount. She told me that do not put more than what I have told you. She gave me this other small bottle. She then gave me this other small bottle again, which I had to put underneath his pillow. But I guess I did not listen as closely as I should have, because traditional healers, the way that they talk with you, it's like they'll be talking really fast, so much that you won't understand the instructions. You do not know if they are just having a general conversation with you or if they are giving you instructions. So I did not listen as closely as I should have. I just wanted him to love me again, to be the man he was when we first married. That night I prepared his favorite meal and I added the potion just as I was instructed. So I watched my husband as he was eating. I watched him closely, waiting for a sign that it was working. At first, everything seemed as if it was normal, and then I began to relax because after he had eaten, he then said that he just wanted to go out to urinate, and when he came back, he was all over me. And I saw that indeed the charm had worked. And then later on, this was after we had made love, he then started to complain and he said that he was feeling unwell. He complained of dizziness, his words slurring, his eyes. I could see that there was something that was wrong with my husband. So I panicked and I realized that something had gone terribly wrong. Before I could do anything to help him, he fell onto the floor and I started screaming because he started shaking as if he was having some epileptic seizures, but there was nothing that I could do to stop what was happening. Then, in front of my eyes, like this thing, when it happened, it did not happen in a couple of minutes. It was hours and hours as he was struggling on the floor. I told him that I wanted to call his other friend who had a car so that he can rush with him to the hospital, and he said, "No, it is fine, please do not do that." Then when it was somewhere around 3 a.m., that was when my husband's body transformed and he was no longer human. At first I thought that maybe it was because I had not slept throughout the night because of what my husband was doing. When it was all over, when I looked, my husband was gone. He was no longer there on the bed. He had been replaced by a small frightened mouse. I could not believe what I was seeing, could not even comprehend the horror of what I had done. I had turned my husband into a creature, a mouse, all because I was too afraid to lose him. Then I started crying. When I started crying, then he said that, "Do not be afraid, my wife. It is I. I am still here. And I am always going to be by your side, my wife." And I did not know what to do quickly. And I then said, "Think, think, think." That was when I thought of telling his relatives that he had already left for South Africa. I took his phone and I gave it to the mouse, and he speaks to me, Brother Nash. This mouse, it speaks, and that is the advantage that I have. He made a WhatsApp voice note to his relatives that he was on his way returning back to South Africa. And that time I could not even know what to do. I could not tell anyone the truth. I could not let them see what I had done. So I then took that mouse, and after I had taken that mouse and I just hid it in my wardrobe, all I knew was that my husband was gone and it was my fault. I said that I was going to sort it out the following day. And when they started asking me, I lied to them that he had gone to South Africa for work. And because of the WhatsApp voice note, everyone just believed that this was the truth. Each and every day, I kept on feeding this mouse, and I then returned back to that traditional healer. When I returned back to that traditional healer, I showed this traditional healer that this is what had happened. And for several days, I could not sleep, I could not eat, I could not live with myself knowing what I had done. I thought that I was saving my marriage, but instead I had destroyed it in the worst way imaginable. I have tried to find a way to undo this spell, but nothing works. The traditional healer has since disappeared, and I have no one to turn to. I am now living a double life, pretending that everything is normal, whilst I am hiding the truth. And the family, I have gone to them to complain, telling them that my husband in South Africa, he has gotten married to his wife, and I feel so sorry for his South African girlfriend, the one that he had a child with, because that woman, she does not even know that this is what is happening to her. So my husband, he goes to South Africa and he steals money from that woman. This woman, it seems as if she has a good job, but when month end comes, she will just be surprised as to what would have happened to her money, because her money will just vanish even from her bank account. So I will then lie to my relatives that my husband has given me the money, but it will be the money that he would have stolen from his South African girlfriend. This is what I did. I was just trying to protect my husband. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo, she was saying that this mouse, it comes to her and it sleeps with her. this mouse, it even have her husband's manhood, just the way that it was when he was still human. Yeah,